Hello, everyone, and welcome to What's New in Neos in 19 minutes. My name is Brian Billig, and I am your host. Thank you so much for joining us. We are 1 o'clock on the dot. So for those of you that haven't joined us before, every month we have a new release, and every month I do one of these webinars to show you all the cool stuff that's included in this release. And we've got a lot of great people here today. Frank, who I've been chatting with, is as close to a fan of these webinars as I think we have, but we've got some other great firms, some great people. Ashley, Becky, hey, Becky, Charlie, Jennifer, Karen, Laura. Okay. This is far and away our largest group yet. So thank you for joining the webinar. Come back every month because every month we've got new great stuff for you. We only have 19 minutes and I just wasted 30 seconds of it. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to share my screen and we'll check out what we've got for the month of September. All right. So you should see my Neo screen. As always, everything that I'm going to show you today is included in all the messaging that we share with you guys. So you should have gotten some emails. You probably got some pop-ups this morning running you through everything. And if you ever need to find it, you can always find it in the support portal. So we'll start off by going to the question mark icon. And it's going to pop out right here for me when there's new stuff. But if it doesn't pop out, it's right here. What's new? So there's two areas that you can check out. The change log, which is all of the updates going way back in time. Very simple, item by item. It shows everything. If you want to see how fast the pace of our development is moving, this is a great place to check it out. But this is what we're going to go with, the September release, and it breaks everything down for us nice and easy. So we've got all our features, our enhancements, our improvements. If there's a video associated with the new feature, it's all right here. So if you have any questions, definitely click that question mark, check out the what's new. It's all here and it's all great. So with that in mind, let's dive in. So one of the first things I want to talk to you guys about today is the concept of the satisfaction surveys that you receive. Some of you may receive them via email, and many of you receive them as pop-ups right here in your Neo screen. So if you ever log in the morning, excuse me, if you ever log in the morning and you get a little pop-up that says, 0 to 10, how would you rate the software? And could you provide us any feedback? Definitely fill those out, because some of the stuff I'm going to show you today was because of the people that filled this information out. So what we've heard from you guys, there's always lots of fancy new feature requests, and we try to fulfill those as quickly as possible. But we also hear folks asking us to simplify things, make things easier for them. And what I'm about to show you, that's what it's all about. So we've got a case open here, and the first place that we're going to go to is the value tab. We've made a UX change to the value tab. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up one of these entries. So I've got a value entry here for Johns Hopkins Hospital. Double click it. And this is the coolest part. The most popular fields for your value entries: value code, amount, what party they're associated with, and the provider, they're right here at the top. They're right here at the top because the value tab and value entries, it can be a tricky place in the program. It can be a little complicated. So what we're doing is we're just trying to make it simpler for you by taking those top 4 fields plus the lean checkbox and dropping it right at the top so that you can enter the most important information quickly and easily. And then by all means, fill out the rest as applicable, but we got you covered right up here. All right. So that's a change I want you to be aware of for value, because so many people spend so much time in this tab. It's a critical change. All right, let's switch over to notes. So in last month's release, we added these navigation tabs up top. So now we've just sort of expanded that. So if you want to see all of your notes, by all means, all notes, and you'll get the big list of everything that's there. But your average case could have hundreds of notes by the time it's brought to completion. So what we've done is we've broken it out into categories. General are like the manual notes that you enter manually. This was what I did, or I talked to somebody about that, and I want to put this note in myself. So they're all here. But when you post emails from Outlook, you can just click emails. It'll show you the emails specifically. It'll even put them in thread categories if you like. If you're making phone calls through the RingCentral integration or logging them in the communication center, phone calls. But what we've added is text messages. So now when you send text messages through Neos, and for those of you that don't know, it couldn't be easier. Literally, here's your number. You click the text message bubble, it pops right up. You've got some quick fill options if you want, but all of those are automatically filed to notes under text messages. That easy. The next thing I want to show you is if you are in All Notes or General, as you guys know, if you click on an item once, you're going to get the preview pane on the right-hand side, right? And if you double click, it's going to open up the full details. But what people have asked for is, I don't want to go all the way in and not be able to see the list. I just want to see the basics of the note, but I also want to make some modifications. So that's what we've added in this release. So if I click a general note, and these were all entered by other people, so let's see what they wrote. I click it once, and I've got the details of the note, and this is Marissa's note. I can change it. This is not Marissa's note. I now claim this note in the name of Brian. And I've made the change right there without having to leave my list. So I can make these modifications and literally it auto saves. I'm a big proponent. You see that blue save button, you make modifications, you click save every time. But with some of these areas where we know what you're doing and we know what you're up to, we're going to save it for you. So I can just close this and that note has been saved. Now, something to point out here. General notes are the notes where you type in the body. Emails, that email that's posted in notes, it's a record of the email that's sent. So if I click emails and I open up a preview, I'm not going to be able to modify the body of the email because I shouldn't. That is the email that was sent, and we don't want to make changes to the record of that email that we have in our system. But you can modify in emails, phone calls, and text messages some of the information up top, like the staff that was posting it or a topic. If you want to make modifications to that, you can do so. But the body of the note, making that modification, is limited to those general notes where typing in the body really is just your staff typing in the body of that note. All right. Shout out to Hovik. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you guys in notes. Now we're going to head over to case documents, and this was one of the biggest changes that was made in this update. So we have more and more firms joining the Assembly family every day, and a lot of these firms are litigating firms or really document intensive firms. A lot of firms coming over from TrialWorks who are accustomed to like really deep document management systems. So we're constantly making improvements to the Documents tab. So as you guys saw, again, with last month's release, we've got these navigation panes. So I've got all files. It works the same way as notes, authorizations, correspondence, medical. What's nice is these tabs are created based on the types of documents that are in my case. So I happen to only have, in this case, these 4 types of documents. So those are the only tabs that are taking up space. So it doesn't get cluttered with the, gosh knows how many different document types you guys may have added to your system. Now, what's interesting is each of these types of documents, they're all documents in your case, but they are very different. And the data associated with these types of documents is very different. So let's take correspondence as an example. So correspondence, obviously, it's communications going back and forth between you and your client, or your client and someone else, or you and the insurance company. So what might be helpful to know in correspondence? The to and the from. But that's obviously not applicable in photos. So these fields, these special document fields, are unique to the correspondence type. Another example would be medical. If we're looking at medical records or anything along those lines, having treatment dates, treatment start or end dates, descriptions, what healthcare provider is providing it. So you've got these fields that detail more about your documents, but you don't have to go all the way into the document to find it. You can make your modifications here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out for a second. We're going to go over to settings, and I'm going to show you Neos administrators out there how this is set up for everybody at your firm. And then we'll come back and play with these for a minute. So real easy. We're going to go to settings and document types. And you've got all your types of documents right here. You may have just a few. You may have a massive list, but you probably have some classics. So let's stick with correspondence. We're going to open up correspondence, and already I've got all my fields right here. So the additional fields associated with correspondence are to, CC, BCC, and from. So we can track that information. If you want different fields, or if you have a document type that doesn't have these custom fields associated with, there is a list for you to choose from. So I click Edit Fields, and these are the options so far: correspondence, deposition, discovery, experts, medical, motions, and subpoena. Now, this is not a user-defined list. This is a list that we have provided, and we've come up with fields for each of these categories. As this expands, we'll add more categories and we'll add more fields within each category. So what you can do, let's say for the sake of argument, I came here and this was empty. Come here, edit fields. This is a correspondence type of document. So I select correspondence, I click save, and my fields drop in. And those are the 4 fields that I have associated specifically with correspondence. So let's go back to our case. How do we modify these fields? Well, there is a new section in the details of each document. So what we can do is, let's say we've got this X-ray here that happened at Johns Hopkins Hospital. We're going to double click to open it fully. We have all the details, which are standard to all the different types of documents, the type, the category, the tags, you know, all of this information is standard. But then I have a second tab here, fields. So when I open up fields, these are all of those fields that we saw back in settings, except I showed you correspondence and now I opened up medical. So these are the medical fields: treatment date, treatment time, end date, diagnosis description, treatment description, healthcare provider, insurance. You can make all your modifications here and click save. Now, if you want to see them in the list view, you just go to your column chooser. The number of column options that you have is just getting longer and longer, so you can decide what you want your view to look like. So I just made an insurance choice. So I'm going to go down here, see all of these fields are here for me. They're options. I'm going to click insurance. And now I have that insurance field as well. So you decide based on your resolution, based on your monitor size. I really recommend the big wide monitors, so you got lots of real estate to work with. You can decide which columns you want, and as always, kind of move them around and customize as you wish. Let's take insurance back out of there. Now you will not see these specific columns in the all files, because the all files has all the different types. I've got my authorizations, I got my correspondence, I got my medical, I got my photos, and they all have different specific fields associated with that type of document. So it's only within these tabs, like correspondence, where I'll see my to and from, and medical, where I'll see my treatments, etc. Okay? All right. We are ahead of schedule today, which is great because I'm always running behind. So I appreciate you guys. Let's go back to our release notes here and just see what we covered and what I've missed. Document types, standard fields for document types, videos right here. It's going to explain everything that I just walked you through. You can also find this video, as always, in the support portal under the Learning Hub. If you ever have any questions, come check out the Learning Hub. This is where all of the tutorial videos are. And whenever we have new features, I usually put them right at the top here. We've got our featured videos. Last month, the big deal was custom dashboards. This month it's document fields. So check this stuff out. But that reminds me, one of the things I did want to show you. Let's go back to our dashboards. I love these dashboards. I'm a big fan of these dashboards. I'm actually going to show you in my staging because that's where I got all my fancy dashboards built out. So you can build out your own dashboard. And when you build out your own dashboard, you're going to see this little key icon because you built this dashboard. It's locked to you unless you decide to share it with others. But if you have your Neos administrators that are data jockeys and are building out all kinds of cool dashboards, they may share them with the other staff, in which case you'll see this icon here. And we've added a small change. Now you can see who's sharing the dashboard with you. So if you've got somebody creating dashboards, or if you accidentally sort of unsubscribe from one or delete it and you need it back, you know who shared it with you, and you can check that out. All right. Let's go back to our list here. Document fields covered. Enhancements, editable notes, side pane covered. Oh, I've got a question from Chelsea about the keys. The keys are not Intake Pro only. So when something is limited to an extra feature of the program, like Intake Pro specifically, you'll see this green Pro icon. So the Intakes Overview dashboard is a dashboard that we've built out that is part of Intake Pro. And it's awesome. By all means, check it out. The keys, no, that's not Intake Pro. That just means you are the user that created it. So you have the proverbial keys to the kingdom. One second here. All right, let's go back to our list. Editable side pane notes done. There's been some invoicing improvements. So invoice lists now has an invoice number column. Users can now add funds from the accounting tab. So for my finance gurus out there, this is all associated with the accounting tab and the connection with your accounting program. So there's a lot of cool features here that really are specific to my accounting gurus. So if you are working with accounting, I'm looking at you, Nancy, come check out this area, and it's going to give you a rundown of all of the improvements that have been made in the accounting section. Dashboard changes, we covered a couple of permission changes, a few things we moved under the accounting category. Since we keep adding all of this new financial functionality, it needs a permission. So we're putting it under the category of accounting for the permission. And then you guys saw the new value tab. So that's the rundown. And check us out. We are 12 seconds ahead of schedule today. So I want to say thank you so much. Again, we've got more people attending today than ever before. Come back next month. Next month's going to be a doozy. I'm going to have to change it to what's new in Neos in 29 minutes because we got some cool stuff coming. But in the meantime, enjoy the new document types, enjoy the new value screen, edit those notes on the fly. And again, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you next month.